Hello there, students. Today we're going to be working on 7.2, the gas laws assignments. We have two of them, and I'm going to start with the second one. So I'm going to open up the document in a new window, and the very first thing that we have there is the link to the simulator. We want to be using the ideal gas laws part. And when we get this, we might want to play around with it a little bit, see what you can do. You can change the amount of particles, you can change the width, you can hold things constant. But the first thing we got to do is we got to start by adding in particles. I'm going to start by adding in 300 particles. And then I'm going to look around and start measuring some stuff. So we can see that these are gas particles, and we know that because they're filling up the shape of their container, and they're not bound by any measures. We see the temperature of this is 300 Kelvin. We see that the pressure is right around 35, and the volume of our container is 10 nanometers. Okay, we're going to assume that this is a cube. We can't see the other dimensions, but it's a 10 nanometer cube, and you can change that. You can change actually quite a few of these things. You can add more particles. You can increase the temperature by turning it hot or cold. You can move the pressure, or you can move the volume, and all that stuff will bounce and change things. So on the gas laws assignment, what we're going to do, the first one I went ahead and did for you. It's how to go about calculating the volume and the pressure. So there are four basic variables that can be changed. You have pressure, you have volume, temperature, and the number of particles. And anytime you do a test, you're going to be looking at two of them, but you're going to keep the other variables constant. So the first test was volume and pressure. So I had to keep the temperature constant and the number of particles constant. So to do the first one, I clicked on temperature, and that holds this constant, and I don't put any more particles in. Now what I did is I went through and I measured. I would move the what we're doing is we're going to be changing the volume and measuring the pressure. So I start with 10 nanometers and a volume of 35. Then I might move it down to 9 nanometers. So now I have 9 nanometers and a volume of about 39. So I put in 9 and 39. Or I move it and I put this at 12. And I measure the pressure. So my volume is 12. My pressure is 29. I can move it all the way out to 15. And I can measure that the volume is 15. The pressure is 23. So that's the first setup. Like I said, I went through and I graphed all that. Then I made a graph of it. To make a graph in Sheets, you highlight the cells you want, you hit Insert, Chart, and all of these graphs are going to be based on a scatter chart. Okay? But looking at a second one, we're actually going to make a second video to watch the second one. But this is just an introduction for how to go about doing these assignments.